in a child's pose. So finding the big toes together, knees apart, start to reach your fingertips to the top of your mat. As you melt the hips back and down, relax the chest towards the ground. Big slow breath in as you land in this child's pose. And if it's uncomfortable for you in any way, begin to use your props. You can slide a blanket underneath your knees. You can use a bolster or a pillow to slide underneath your chest to make this way more supported here, allowing you to soften and drop down into the posture. So as we land here on our mats, let's begin to check in. How do I feel physically? You know, where is the resistance landing in the body? And can I release any of it without causing any pain, right? So if I let go of my shoulders a little bit more, am I releasing tension or am I going too deep into the posture? And only you can really tell that, right? So continue to explore this child's pose. And then as you're ready, begin to inhale, rise up into a neutral tabletop, stack the shoulders over the wrist, hips over the knees, press into all 10 fingers here, press into the knees and lift the belly. Moving through 3 rounds of cat and cow, we'll inhale, heart and eyes forward, press into the fingertips, exhale, curl up and in, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale, lengthen forward, grow longer through the spine. Exhale, curl up and in. Then we'll take our final round here. Inhale, open up, expand that heart. Exhale, curl up and in. Finding your way back into that child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. Again, reach the fingertips to the top of the mat, and you can always use your props. For this one, I'm going to offer you to bend at the elbows and bring the hands overhead like prayer. Move Mr. Peanut so I can show you. It's a little bit deeper into the shoulders, the triceps here, definitely a deeper heart opener. So if you get there and it's not for you, maybe just play with bending the arms slowly and releasing them back down to the ground. Working on releasing and opening up to that heart. And as we're doing this, maybe check in with how you feel mentally in this moment. Maybe you had a series of events that led you to this class this morning and they're still kind of swirling around in your head. That's okay. Just become aware of it. Inhale brings us back up into that neutral tabletop. Stack the shoulders over the wrist. Lift up through the belly. Lengthen out through the spine. Align through the hip, so the hip is right on top of that knee. And let's take 3 more rounds of cat and cow. Inhale, lengthens the spine forward. Reach to the top of the head. Exhale, curl up and in. Lengthen the back of the neck. 2 more, moving with your breath, really exploring all the sensations. Back into that tabletop. This time keep the toes tucked. Find a child's pose. So this is our active child's pose. Hope you can see my feet in the video. Hips come back towards the heels. Walk the chest down. And again, we can rest on that bolster, a blanket, a pillow, a block. You can rest your chest here. Might be a little bit deeper. Notice what starts to happen to the breath as we intensify this posture. And see if you can slow it back down. Right? This practice is not about forcing your way into these shapes. It's about letting go of any tension that's keeping you from this space. Slowly start to shift forward, untuck those toes. Final full child's pose here. Big toes together, knees apart. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Make a big giant C out of the side body. You can take it as deep or as little as you like. As you settle in, begin to check in with how you feel emotionally in this moment. Inhale brings our hands back through center. Take a cleansing breath in and out. Inhale brings our hands all the way over to the left side of us. Same thing. Inhale begins to bring our hands back through center. Taking this final time in child's pose to set your intention for your practice today. We've already checked in with ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. You're ready to set that intention. And holding on to that as we begin to move throughout this practice. Next inhale begins to rise us up into our neutral tabletop again. We've already been here with those cats and cows, so find that strong foundation. Right leg is going to reach behind you, toes to the earth. Keep the hips nice and square, and then lift that heel off the ground if that's for you today. Exhale is going to curl it under, start to pull it up and in. Maybe the forehead comes towards the knee. Inhale, we lengthen back out nice and long. Exhale, curl it under really slowly, over exaggerate all the little subtle movements. Inhale, extend, lengthen back long. Exhale, curl it under. Pull that belly button up towards the spine. Release the back of the neck. Press into the fingertips. Extend slowly back out. 2 more. Starting to build some heat here. Also beginning to strengthen our low belly, which will help with that low back pain. Lengthening out through the top of the head, always through the whole transition. Then we begin to extend that right leg behind us. Tuck those toes and start to shift your hips back. Getting a little bit of a calf stretch here. You may need to wiggle the leg back a little bit more. Stay here, start to curl chin to chest, lengthening out the back of the neck as well. Coming back up into our tabletop, we're going to slide our hips side to side, let go of any tension that just built up. And we'll start to head over to the other side. So left leg is going to extend, lengthen out through the entire spine. Left leg lifts when you're ready. Find balance in between the hips, right? So we don't want to be dumping onto this right leg. We want to stay super balanced, yeah? Exhale, curl it under, elbow taps the knee. Inhale, extend and lengthen out. Exhale, curl it under. Really pull up and in through that belly. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen. 2 more. Engaging those arms, building that heat. Begin to take the toes all the way down to the ground. Dig them into the earth. Press back. Feel that length in the calf muscle, and then maybe drop the chin to the chest, lengthen the back of the neck. Slowly coming back up into our tabletop, slide those hips side to side, let go of any tension that just came up. And we'll make our way to our first downward facing dog. Tuck those toes, lift the hips up and back, relaxing the chest back and down. Big slow breath in. Long, slow breath out. Inhale rises us high up on our tippy toes. Slowly make your way up to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Relax and release to the top of the head here. Bend the knees super deep. And then just gently shift your weight side to side. Maybe the upper body starts to sway. So if your legs are all the way straight here and you're really having a hard time reaching the ground, bend your knees so that your hamstrings can get some relief. We'll get deeper into them later. And also you can use blocks for your hands here if you still can't quite grab the ground. Nod the head, yes. Side to side, no. Inhale, we'll halfway lift us, find a long, strong spine here, and then slide those shoulders back and down. Exhale, bend the knees as you fold. Inhale, rise up, tall mountain. Reaching the hands to the sky, lift up, open that heart space, and then exhale, forward fold. Belly lifts as we shift forward, lengthening out through the torso. Knees can bend, drop the head. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, relax, release the head and neck. Inhale, rise up, use your core muscles to stand. Exhale, forward fold, empty it all out. So you're shifting and hinging from the waist, dropping through the top of the head, relax the back of the neck. Let's catch a ragdoll arm bind here, grab opposite elbows, and begin to breathe length into the spine. Big full breath in. Long, slow breath out. What can you let go of this last round of breath? How can you find a little more heaviness here? Inhale brings us up nice and tall, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, palm the mat. Find your way back to a modified variation of plank. So knees are going to come down to the ground. Shifting our weight forward, we'll lower chaturanga, elbows pull in tight to the body. Lift your belly as you're going down, all the way to the earth, and then we're going to pause for a Sphinx Pose. So for Sphinx, you're going to slide the elbows underneath the shoulders, press into the tops of the feet, so we're not really dumping into our low spine here. You want to be active in the lower body. So press in the tops of the feet, engage the quads, and then begin to peel your chest forward. Keep lifting, actively lifting your belly button away from the ground. 3. Open up your heart, relax your neck. 2. And 1. Slowly come down. Pop those elbows out to the side. Swish the hips side to side. Bringing the arms out like, I don't know, I kind of feel like a spider. So they're out to the side like a spider, and you're up on your fingertips. Relax your forehead down to the ground. Take a moment here and think about sending your tailbone down towards the back of your knees. Lift your right leg as high as you can. Lift your belly button to your spine. Lower down slow. Lift your left leg, lift your belly, scoop it up and in. And lower down. Lift your belly and lift the right leg. And lower down. Lift your belly, lift the left leg. And lower down. Let's do one more round each side. So you're scooping in that core first and lifting. Scooping in that core and lifting instead of pushing your belly out to the ground. Relax those hips, relax those arms. Pressing back into a child's pose, 3 breaths, releasing through that low back. Now you don't have to take child's pose here. If you like, you can take C, bringing the knees together, feet together, hands back towards the heels. Relax the low back. Relax the hips. Final breath here. And then we'll begin to make our way back to a downward facing dog. So bring those hands to the top of your mat. Tuck the toes, lift those hips to the sky. Take a moment in this down dog. Maybe you bend the right knee, melt the left heel. Maybe you bend the left knee, melt the right heel. Coming back into a neutral space. Let's send our right leg up to the sky just for a breath and then head right into a runner's lunge. Right foot is going to come to the top of your mat. Heart and eyes begin to reach forward, lengthen long. Back knee then comes down to the earth and we start to lengthen up through the heart space to the best of your ability, right? So if you're super curled in here, take a deep breath. Exhale. As you relax, start to lengthen your chest forward. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, start to lengthen the chest forward. Keep locking and lifting up through the belly. Inhale. Exhale. Engaging through the core, but softening through the hips. So for the next few breaths, well, first let's check in with our alignment because even my foot was a little further back. Ankle is right underneath that knee. So make any adjustments there if you have to kind of inch that foot forward. And then we're going to just gently rock side to side. Taking my hips to the right, taking my hips to the left, and noticing where the tight places are that are showing up. Maybe it's all tight, and that's okay. Keep engaging and lengthening through the belly as you soften back and down through the shoulders. Let's start to shift it back, split, perhaps scoop through the core. Send those hips back towards the heel, and then notice how tight the hamstring is here. Do I need my hands on blocks? So if you're in that split prep, lengthen out the back of the neck. Relax the top of the head towards the top of that foot. Where is the tension landing in your body? Is it in your hips? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in the back of the neck? Stay here, begin to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Dropping through the top of the head, relax the shoulders. Slowly bring those hands back to center. And begin to bend that right knee. Rock the weight forward and back. 3. Forward and back. 2. Forward and back. 1. Shift your weight forward. Let's find a tabletop. That right foot is going to slide back. Switch those hips side to side. There's no rush getting there. Tuck the toes, walk the hands back towards the knees, and begin to sit up on top of the knees. So we have our toes tucked for balance and support here. Core is engaged and lifted. Bringing the hands to the low back so you can go fingers up or fingers out to the side, whatever feels good today. Press your hips forward, engage your belly, lift up through the heart space. Keep pressing hips forward. 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen up as you release this so you're coming up taller. Sit back onto your heels. Stretching out the bottoms of the feet. Lengthen the lowest part of your spine. We're resetting there. Thank you. And then come back into your tabletop. Untuck your toes. Give them a little tip, tap, tip, tap, tip, tap. Let's find our way back to a downward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Lift those hips up and back. Relax your chest down. Release to the back of the neck. Inhale, our left leg is going to lift just for a breath here. Find some space between those legs. And then exhale, runner's lunge. Foot comes in between the hands. Heart and eyes reach forward. Back knee starts to come down to the ground. And then we move through that movement that we did the first time. So if the spine is really crunched or you're really tight here, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale it out, try to release some tension somewhere. Big full breath in. Release it out. Open up to that heart space for the best of your ability. Lift that core. What tension can you let go of? And then let's start to rock side to side. So gently hips to the right and the left. Exploring that space behind the right hip, or right at the right hip, excuse me. And you may feel it in the left leg as well. You may feel it up into your belly. You may start to feel the fatigue in the shoulders starting to happen. Just continue to engage the core for balance and to protect the spine, and release what you can. It's not about forcing deeper. And let's start to shift it back. Split prep. Scoop up through the belly. Now, as we land here, I think I got cut off the last time I was trying to talk about it. Our right hip is on top of the right knee. Our left knee does not have to be straight. So work towards the balance in the hips first. Find that alignment, and then start to work towards lengthening out behind that left knee. It might not happen today. That's okay. So you want to get to that same idea that we just did in the lunge, right? You find that beginning resistance, or that beginning edge of a sensation, right? It's like, ooh, okay, that's kind of tight right there. Find that place and then take a deep breath. And just relax what you can. It doesn't have to be where that tightness is coming from. Maybe you're holding tension up in your neck and shoulders and you don't even realize it. Maybe you're clenching your jaw. Maybe you're clenching your buns. So wherever that is, find as much ease as you can each time you exhale. and beginning to walk over to the left side of you if that's accessible today. Keeping that left hip even with the right, and then dropping to the top of the head once you land there. Slowly start to bring your hands back forward. And then we got those 3 rocks. You're going to rock it into that modified lunge. Rock it back, split prep. It doesn't have to be your deepest expression. We're just bringing some ease back into that hip area, that hamstring area. 3 times is our final round. Then we start to make our way back into that tabletop. Slide those hips side to side. And then begin to spin the pinkies back towards the knees, stretching out the base of the wrist here. If that's too deep, take fingertips out to the side. Tuck the toes, maybe shift the hips back towards the heels. If the shoulders come up to the ears, reassess. Keep the nice long length in the back of the neck. Last breath here. Slowly start to come back into your tabletop. Let's find a downward facing dog. Inhale, rise high up on your tippy toes. Exhale, forward fold, top of the mat. Slowly step, walk, or hop your way up there. Relax and release to the back of the neck. Inhale, halfway lifts us once we land. Exhale, fold. Take a deep bend in the knees. Go ahead and have a seat on the bum. Bring the feet together, knees apart, bound angle. Couple of bounces here as we lengthen up through the spine. And then as you're ready, we'll begin to fold. So think about sending the tailbone back away from you and then reaching the chest forward. Once you hit that resistance, like here's where my resistance is, then begin to soften the shoulders and the top of the head all the way down. So that might not look like that today. Maybe you need the bolster to support you here so that you can find some relief and release in the hips and the lowest part of your back. You got about 7 breaths here. So see again that same inhale, explore, and as you exhale, release. Notice if you're clenching through the jaw, scrunching through the forehead. Can you find some relief there? Last 2 breaths. Inhale is going to begin to bring us back up nice and tall. Pause for a moment with this length in the spine. Feel the crown of the head reach to the sky, tailbone down towards the ground. And you may need to bring the chin down slightly. So just check that alignment there, that you're not lifting up through the forehead, but lifting up through the crown. Finding a side body stretch from here. So if the hip opening right here for this bound angle is too much, come into an easy seated position, like crisscross applesauce. So whichever one's working for you today, we'll take that side body stretch. Left arm reaches up and over, and then left hip reaches down towards the ground. Yeah, right forearm starts to reach towards the ground. It might not get there today, but we want to find, again, I start to hit that first sign of resistance, and that's where I begin to check in. Back of the neck gets a little bit longer. Left elbow starts to pull back just a little more. If you're looking up, look down. Or if you're looking down, maybe play with looking up. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale begins to lift us up nice and tall. Reach to the top of the head. Here it is. It's that spinal reset, right? So don't lift through the crown. I'm sorry, lift through the chin. Do lift through the crown. And let's head over to the other side. So left arm reaches down. Right arm reaches up and over. Right hip starts to reach down towards the ground. You open and expand up through the right side body. The left forearm may melt down towards the ground, it may not. It can always be on a block as well, always an option. How is the neck here? And maybe looking down towards the ground. Inhale begins to bring us up. Use your core. Rise strong. Lift tall. And then moving into seated tree. So right leg is going to extend. Left leg is going to bend out to the side. Belly button towards that big toe. And we're just going to take a few walk up, walk down. So we're not going to hold this stretch. You're going to walk your hands forward. Use your core to your edge. And then walk your hands back. Let's do 4 more rounds of that. Walk your hands forward. Walk your hands back. Moving with your breath. Engaging the core as you rise. We're strengthening our low back. Last 2 rounds. As we sit nice and tall after that final round, plant the left foot to the earth and then cross that leg up and over the right. Having a time with this microphone today. Okay, so as this left knee is bent, we're going to start to twist towards that left knee. Left hand comes behind us. Right elbow can come up and in front. If that is not for today, you can just hug this knee towards you. What we want to work on here is lengthening up out of our seat and then twisting back behind us. There's no forcing. Find that beginning sign of resistance or sensation and then soften there. As you soften, the sensation will go down, the resistance will go down, and you can start to deepen it. Inhale is going to bring us back through center. Reach up tall through the crown of the head. Gently unwind those legs. Plant the feet. Windshield wiper the knees side to side. Feel the knees just kind of gently move. No fast jolty movements here, right? And then we'll meet in that left-sided seated tree. So left leg extends out, right leg is bent. We're gonna do 5 walk-ups and walk-downs. You get to choose how deep you take this. So we take it down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep moving. Final round. After that final round, sit tall for a breath. And then right knee starts to lift up to the sky. Maybe cross that foot over the left, and we'll move into that spinal twist. Right hand reaches behind us. Left hand can hold our knee, or left elbow slides in front. Sit tall out of that seat. Drop the right shoulder down. Maybe look over that right shoulder. Inhale, start to bring your hands back through center, lift up. Gently release that hold. Plant the feet, windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then begin to slide onto your backs. Setting up for reclined pigeon from here. So right leg is going to cross over the left. First pause here and see how this feels. Is this right for today, or do I need to go deeper? If I need to go deeper, you'll start to pull the left hamstring towards you, reaching down with both hands. Slide that right knee towards you just a little bit more, opening up that right hip. Relax and release to the lowest part of the back. Relax and open up through the shoulders. Gently begin to sway side to side. Long, slow, deep breaths. Just keep returning back to that intention that you set for practice today. And then we're going to let the sole of the right foot come all the way down to the earth on the outside of our left hip. That's going to look a little different on all of us. Future goal or current goal would be to send the right knee to the sky. Okay, so that's going to open up a little bit more in that right hip on the inside. You may be feeling it in different places. Arms can open out wide. Maybe look over that right shoulder. Finding a heaviness here in this twist. We'll slowly begin to come back to center. Gently unwind those legs. Plant the feet again, hips distance apart. Reach the fingertips down towards the heels. Press the feet into the hands. Lift the hips to the sky, bridge pose. As you exhale, slowly lower the hips down to the ground. Open up the shoulders. Keep the shoulders open, bridge pose. Lift the hips. As you exhale, slowly lower back down, open those shoulders. Bridge pose, lift it up. Exhale, slowly lower it back down. Inhale to lift and hold. Relax the back of the neck, slight tilt of the chin to the chest, 3. Pull the belly down towards the spine, 2. And 1, slowly lower back down, release any muscles. Let go of the glutes, the low back, the hamstrings, the shoulders. And then we'll set up for the other side. So left leg is going to cross up and over. First, decide if this is how deep you'd like to go today, or if you want to take it deeper. Then begin to pull the right hamstring towards you. Find that first sign of resistance. Pause, breathe, and soften where you can. Maybe starting to gently rock side to side, continuing to encourage the low back to soften, the shoulders to soften. And then begin to let the sole of the left foot come all the way to the ground on the outside of that right hip. Arms start to open out wide. Maybe you look over that left shoulder. Left knee would love to be going towards the sky. It might not be there today. That's okay. Try to find some heaviness. Slowly begin to come back to center. Gently unwind those legs. Take the heels to the sky. Hips stand. Knees can be bent. Hips can be on blocks here. Allow yourself to find that heaviness in the lowest part of your back. Release and open up to those shoulders. And those knees pull into your chest, giving yourself a big hug here. Taking any final movement you need to take to complete your practice today, and as you're ready, releasing out into your Shavasana. Legs can fall heavy to the edge of the mat, arms away from the sides, take up space. Allowing yourself to be comfortable enough to let go. Taking the next few moments to allow the body and the mind to rest and heal, also allowing the nervous system to reset. So important to give ourselves that space so that we can begin to heal. Shavasana. Slowly beginning to come back to your breath. Finding some gentle movement maybe in the hands and the feet, but there's no rush. There's no specific movement you need to take here. It's just all intuition guided. What feels good to you as you gently wake up your body. Then we'll begin to pause in stillness. You can stay on your back or rock onto your favorite side. Pausing to do our final check-in here. How do I feel physically in this moment without any judgment attached? How do I feel mentally in this moment? And how do I feel emotionally in this moment? Slowly beginning to bring yourself up into an easy seated position. Hands to heart center as we close out this practice, as always, in a seat of gratitude. Gratitude for this moment, for this body, for the awareness you had to take care of yourself today. Take a deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. And we bring our thumbs to our forehead, finding gratitude for one another and the energy that we just shared. Namaste, friends. Namaste, guys. Namaste, Delaney. So, today's practice, unknowingly to me before we started, was going to be full of distractions. And what that allows us to do is to come back each time, right? Right? Each time we get distracted in life or on our mat, we always have the choice and the opportunity to come back to that mindset, that peaceful mindset, that calm mindset every time. And it is a practice. So if you get it perfect and you figured out how to get it perfect, you let me know. But it is definitely a practice that this one and the kitty cat blessed us with today. How's everybody feeling? Thank you guys so much for joining us here today at Cat Harmon Yoga. This was one of our live Zoom classes that were filmed, so there is no edits, there is no pause the video and, you know, get to give sweet hugs and kisses and then send her back on her way. So what this teaches us is, or what this class shows us is, how do distractions affect us? How do we handle distractions? Do we get frustrated? Do we allow ourselves to get distracted and completely off of our game? Or do we use that as a tool to practice, to come back to center, to practice to come back to our intention, right? So if we can do that on our mat, think about how much easier it's going to be able to move through life if we can use distractions as opportunities to come back home, to come back to center. Thank you again so much for coming and joining us today here at Cat Harmon Yoga. So incredibly grateful. If you enjoyed the video, please click subscribe to the channel. It helps us out so much. If you would like to donate or check out more of our daily information or join one of these live Zoom classes, because you never know what's going to happen, check out catharmonyoga.com or follow us on Instagram at catharmonyoga. Thank you again so much for joining us today. You want to sit up and tell them namaste? Namaste.